The Sun have the 3 spot. They've been considered a top team in the league all year, a contender.
Mhm.
And you said all they would have to do is win out and the Sun lose out. And I think the reason why people are saying that that's possible is because the Sun are about to see the Lynx next at home. And they have actually won the first 2 games versus
Yeah.
the Lynx. But one of those games, Nafisa Collier got injured during the game and left. So sorry, that kind of has an asterisk on it. And then in the first game, they won in overtime by like 1 or 2 points, but it was like on free throws and the call was kind of controversial.
Mhm.
So no matter the outcome, Lynx control their destiny because they're up 2 games. They can actually lose to Connecticut. Connecticut's going to win the regular season series regardless. But I think the expectation for many is that the Lynx are probably going to win that game. So if that does happen, now you're looking at their last game of the season versus the Chicago Sky.
Mhm.
And that to me is like a business decision at that point because do you want to give your players some rest? And do you have a preference of playing the Fever, where if you stay in the 3 spot, you would match up with the Indiana Fever, or playing the Storm, where if you drop to the 4 and the Aces decided to win out, or they won out rather, then they would move to the 3 and the Sun would move to the 4. So I don't look at it as like trying to avoid a team, but it's more like if you think it's important to get any of your players rest, you're comfortable no matter the outcome with either matchup. Do you rest some of those players the last game of the season and be comfortable getting the 4 or 5? Or do you really feel strongly like you just want to hold on to the 3 seed? I just think a business decision needs to be made. But I think I think the Storm would be a better matchup. That's just my opinion because of the pace that the Fever play with. So
Hmm.
the Sun, no matter what, are going to always be in games due to their defense. And
Yeah.
if everything is clicking for them offensively, they're going to be hard to beat. But it's if. That's always the question with their offense. And I just don't think they want to get into a pace and running game with Indiana. The same thing I said about the Aces, and that's in part why the Aces beat them. They slowed down the pace and they played like really, really, really great defense. But the Aces also, their offense was clicking. So the Sun, I don't know. I would just be a little bit more concerned about them actually versus the Fever than the Storm. And look, Caitlin Clark just recently said, they're not here. They're not just happy to be here.
Yeah.
They're not just happy to like make the playoffs. Okay. We believe we can compete with every single team that's in the playoffs,
Yeah.
you know? And so and I mean, look, that their backcourt has been on a roll. Her and Caitlin and Kelsey are
Yes.
just doing very ridiculous things right now, right? Like they both just had ridiculous games the other night. 35 points, 8 assists, 6 3-point makes for Caitlin. Kelsey
Mhm.
Mitchell, 30 points, 6 3-point makes for her. This is insane. This
Yeah.
is what this backcourt is doing right now. I just don't know if this is what you want to see heading into the postseason, Callie.
Okay, I just want to say I like what you're setting up. You're kind of setting it up from the Sun perspective, like, "Ooh, I don't know if this is the team that you want." But what you're doing, I think kind of unintentionally, is setting the stage for a great matchup. Like, I want to see it even more. The more that you say about the Sun not wanting to see the Fever makes me want to see it even more. Like, I remember we were talking about how badly I wanted to see the Sky in the playoffs, but like inject the Fever versus the Sun in the first round into my veins. Like I would live for it. Because if you look at it, like these teams have played each other a lot this season, and every single time it was competitive. It was fiery. I mean, that's just kind of like how the Fever and the Sun both play basketball separately. So when you put them on the court together, that's what you're going to get. But I love that. And there was like a good history to it because Caitlin Clark began her WNBA career officially against the Sun. You know what I'm saying? Like now, hope potentially make her first. Well, she's gonna make her first playoff appearance no matter what. But against the Sun, I just think that would be really cool. I would love a series
Full
of it.
circle moment.
I just would love. I love a good full circle. You know how I am by now,
Yeah.
and I would just please. please. Because my Chicago Sky postseason thing is just
okay. Well, we're not talking about the Sky right now. But I think again, it's the lawyer in me. I'm just laying out all the possible scenarios, and this time of year is always my favorite in the basketball season, whether it's WNBA or NBA, because I love playing out all the various scenarios. And 1 through 4 and 8 are legitimately all up for grabs still. Yeah. So it's logistically they're all up for grabs. Like, will there ultimately be a lot of shifts? Maybe not, because Becky Hammon was talking about rest still again. And once they play Seattle, tomorrow night, if they win, they've basically locked in the 4. So they may not care about chasing the 3, and it may be more important for her to give those players rest again. So they may not want it, you know what I mean? Or may not care about it. I don't want to say not want it, but just may not care about it. So I'm just laying out all the different factors here. I ultimately think it is going to be Sun Fever, and I think the Fever do have a very good chance of upsetting in this series. So I don't know yet who I would pick, but I think that I agree with you that it would be a very good first round series. I think it definitely has the chance of going the distance, going all 3 games. Yeah. So we will see. But yeah, and by the way, I think a Sunstorm matchup would be good. But, I just wanted everyone to know what all the different scenarios could be. Callie, thank you for joining me as always. Playoffs around the corner.
Let's hear.